morning, everyone. Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. Today is Tuesday, May 12, 2026. Hopefully you have yourself a happy Tuesday morning. We got a lot more to get to because NFL schedule release is 2 days away. So I will talk about that as well. NFL schedule release expect on Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern for the entire 32 teams. We'll have a full schedule on Thursday. So, speaking of schedules, we do have another breaking news in the NFL. The news of the day is our first Monday Night Football game is September 14th of this year, 2026. It will be the AFC West matchup. It will be defending AFC West champions. The Denver Broncos will visit the Kansas City Chiefs. It will be Bo Nix versus Patrick Mahomes. Kickoff begins at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN, ABC, ESPN2. ESPN2 is Peyton and Eli Manning cast and ESPN Deportes. So that's our first Monday Night Football schedule on ESPN. Keep that in mind. ESPN will not have Monday Night Football doubleheaders anymore. Monday Night Football doubleheaders will be in a separate platforms. Some of them are Netflix or YouTube. And Netflix and YouTube will share one of the part of the Monday Night Football doubleheaders. Monday Night Football on ESPN and ABC all season long will be standalone primetime game. So they'll have the rest of Monday Night Football schedule later on this week. So far, I'm going to ask this question about the Broncos and the Chiefs. Do you think this is the right move? The Broncos and Chiefs will start the season on Monday Night Football? Of course. Meaningful games, meaningful division games to start the season. Broncos and the Chiefs in Kansas City. You had the youngster versus the legacy. Youngster is Bo Nix. The legacy is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a three-time Super Bowl champion, three-time Super Bowl MVP, two-time league MVP. But the Broncos are defending AFC West champions. The Broncos won 14 games last year. They won 14-3 last year. Got to the AFC Championship game, ended up losing to the Patriots. So now, it's going to make a path a whole lot easier now. Broncos. The Broncos are going to play a lot of confidence. So Broncos' expectations this season is high. Same as the Chiefs, despite they missed the playoffs last year. Chiefs went 6-11 last year. Now the Kansas City Chiefs are just trying to play a different brand of football in 2026. The Chiefs were a third-place team a season ago. So if that's the case, the Chiefs have been on prime time to start the season in each of their last 4 years. So, Lions Chiefs, 2023 NFL kickoff. Ravens Chiefs, 2024-25 NFL kickoff. Last year, Chiefs and the Chargers, a Friday game in Brazil. And now this year it'll be Broncos at Chiefs. The AFC West just keeps on getting better. So if that's the case, then that's gonna. The Broncos swept the Chiefs in a season series last year, and one of those games that Patrick Mahomes did not play in week 17. Chris Oladokun made his first NFL start last year. And Broncos won on Christmas Day in Kansas City 20-13. Ended up sweeping the Chiefs. So the Broncos have not won 3 in a row against the Chiefs in a long time. Broncos looking for their first 3-game winning streak against the Chiefs. However, though, the Broncos have not had a winning streak. Broncos have never had a 2-game winning streak against Patrick Mahomes. Ever. So far. Patrick Mahomes only has 2 career losses against the Broncos in his career, if I'm correct. He lost in 2023. He lost to him last year. So far, Patrick Mahomes has been really good against the Broncos in his career. Numbers not great against them. Broncos have compete with the Chiefs. It could consider a rivalry. It is a rivalry game. Broncos and Chiefs. So from Kansas City, Missouri to Denver, Colorado, I believe it's a 3-hour distance between Kansas City and Denver. So I believe that's a 3-hour flight, something like that. So you can bet on that in this one here. All right, let's move on to, we'll talk more NFL stuff a little bit later. We have another schedule review. We'll get to that a little bit later as this show progresses. Let's start with the NBA. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Cavaliers battled the Pistons last night in Cleveland, as the Cavaliers were down by 4 at halftime, 56-52 in favor of the Pistons. The Cavaliers start the third quarter on a 24-0 run. Donovan Mitchell led the way with 43 points, including 39 points in the second half, as the Cleveland Cavaliers with a 112-103 victory to even up this series at 2 games apiece. So here's my question after one of the last 2 games. Are you still buying the Cavs to go to the Eastern Conference Finals? Actually, I am, but you gotta win a road game. So far, they're 0-6. Actually, they're 0-5 away from Cleveland this season, this postseason. So now, Cavaliers, they won this game. They only shot 44% from the field, 34% from downtown. That's always a good sign. Cavaliers defense forced 18 Pistons turnovers. Cade Cunningham led the way with 5 turnovers. Cade Cunningham has struggled in the postseason with turnovers. He's averaged almost 6 a game. So let's just say the Cavaliers, like I said, the Cavaliers start the third quarter a 24-0 run. And the Cavaliers outscored the Pistons in the third quarter 38-21. In the entire second half, $60-47 in favor of the Cavs. And largely it's been their defense. It's been their defensive side of the ball for the Cavs. Cavs outscored the Pistons in the second half 60-47. That's how good the Cavs at home in the playoffs are. And this is a difference maker. You got to make those differences. You got to make good difference makers. You know it's critical. Cavaliers with a 24-0 third quarter run. That is the longest run in Cavaliers playoff history. So keep that in mind. Cavs are 10-6 when the series is tied at 2 apiece. Last time the series was tied at 2 apiece for the Cavs, they were won against the Raptors in 7 games. So let's see how it pans out in Game 5. Game 5 is back in Detroit on Wednesday night. Meanwhile, for the Pistons, another tough road loss. The Pistons are now 1-4 on the road in the playoffs. I mean, the only win on the road was Game 6 of the first round against the Magic. So now the Pistons are going to go back home and try to win it in front of their home fans in Game 5. But this is it. Kate kind of did that 19 points. Like I said, he committed 5 turnovers. And Pistons were sloppy with the ball handling and ball security for the entire game. Karis LeVert was actually the bright spot for the Pistons off the bench, 24 points. But the guys have not got it going. Duncan Robinson, Jalen Duren, Dennis Jenkins, Tobias Harris struggled. Azir Thompson was inconsistent. But the guys who provided a spark was Karis LeVert and Paul Reed. Karis LeVert had 24 points, Paul Reed had 15. Paul Reed has come alive in his last couple of games. But no one else has shown up. So, Game 5 is so important for Detroit to regain a home court advantage. It's going to be critical by going forward because of that. All right, so coming up next, Thunder and Lakers squared off in LA. It was a thriller in LA who won in Game 4 last night. We'll have to find out in this one. Also coming up, we'll preview tonight's Game 5 between the Spurs and the Timberwolves live from San Antonio with the series is deadlocked at 2 apiece. And also, we have a Thanksgiving game. Cowboys will host a Thanksgiving game in Week 12. Who's their Thanksgiving opponent? Also coming up, the Bills' home opener in new Highmark Stadium has been revealed. We'll all talk about that right after this. Welcome back to JDB's Morning Cap. Thunder square off the Lakers in Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinals. Lakers try to keep their season alive. The Thunders try to go for the sweep here. It was a wild finish. It was a wild finish here in Los Angeles. Thunder was up 109-103 with with 2:03 to go. And Rui Hachimura hits a three with the and one. Hogan committed a foul. And then Hachimura makes the free throw, make this a 2-point game. Meanwhile, Jackson Hayes got the rebound after A.J. Mitchell misses a three. That would have been a dagger. And then Marcus Smart drives for 2 points with a driving layup to tie this game. And Hogan fouled Marcus Smart for and one. Marcus Smart will make a free throw to put the Lakers ahead 110-109. Meanwhile, Thunder has the ball. Chet Hogan looked like he traveled. Chet Hogan gets a go-ahead dunk to make it 111-110. And then ensuing Lakers possession, LeBron has a chance to put it back ahead. LeBron misses a floater bank jump shot. Hartenstein gets the rebound. SGA makes both free throws to make it a Thunder 113-110 lead. The Lakers still got a shot to tie it this time. Austin Reeves looking for a game-tying 3-4 jump shots, no good. A.J. Mitchell will make both free throws as the Thunder holds on and they sweep the Lakers 115-110. Thunder becomes the first defending NBA champions to advance the conference finals since the Golden State Warriors 2019. So the Thunder advances their second consecutive Western Conference Finals appearance. 6th in their Thunder franchise history. So that a wild finish here. SGA led the way with 35 points. A.J. Mitchell came up huge in Game 4. He had 28 points in Game 4. So let me ask this question about the Oklahoma City Thunder. We know it was a hard-fought game. How did Thunder escape this victory in Game 4 to earn a sweep? Couple of things. How they escape. Number one, Chet Holmgren almost traveled either he almost traveled or he almost committed a 3-second violation. To me, it looked like he committed a 3-second violation. Not only he's in the paint too long, he has the ball in the paint too. Chet Holmgren has the ball and he was in the paint for a long time, causing a 3-second violation that should have been called. And then Luka Doncic claimed that, even though he wasn't playing, Luka Doncic said that should have been a travel. If it was for these two calls, one of these two calls, Lakers would have won it. Instead, Chet Holmgren delivers a go-ahead dunk with 32 seconds left to play. Lakers would have won that game. They would have forced game 5 if it wasn't for these calls. If it wasn't for that missed call. So SGA, 35 points, 8 assists. But the guy who's having the most efficient night was A.J. Mitchell, 28 points, 4 assists. How about 4 steals? He's been activity on a defensive end. A.J. Mitchell has been the bright spot so far in the playoffs. With J.W. Williams is out with the injury. A.J. Mitchell has stepped up in the playoffs. He really has. He really has stepped up in the playoffs. Meanwhile, for the Los Angeles Lakers, encouraging Game 4 loss. They were blown out the first 3 games of this series, but last night they didn't get blown out. There was some encouraging signs, including Rui Hachimura with 25 points, 4 3-pointers. Austin Reeves with 27 points. Why Rui Hachimura was not on the floor with 32 seconds left to play or otherwise. Rui Hachimura was not on the floor when the Lakers were down by 3. The final timeout occurred. Lakers used the final timeout occurred in 12 seconds. And Rui was now on the floor. Rui was 4 for 8 from downtown. Give him a chance. And you get Austin Reeves a chance. He had 27 points. He made 3 3-pointers, 6 assists, 7 rebounds. But Austin Reeves did not. Austin Reeves missed a game-tying 3-point jump shot. Oh, by the way, Austin Reeves has 8 turnovers in that game last night. Austin Reeves have committed 8 of the team's 19 turnovers. Just unacceptable for the Lakers. Unacceptable series for the Los Angeles Lakers, despite despite the effort last night. Despite the positives last night, LeBron James, we'll get to that in a couple of moments. The Lakers, they just haven't found such for consistency against this Thunder team. Lakers finishing the regular season or postseason 0-8, 0-4 in the regular season, 0-4 in the playoffs. By the way, the Lakers have lost 9 consecutive games against the Thunder dating back to last year. That is the longest losing streak in their franchise history against a single opponent, the Oklahoma City Thunder. What's LeBron's future holds? There's a lot going on against LeBron James. Right now, LeBron James is just a man you don't want to see. If that's the case, you don't want to make this thing better, okay? Right now, the Lakers just need LeBron James. What LeBron James' future holds, like I said, should LeBron retire? Should LeBron bring him back next year? Should LeBron move on to a different team, like Golden State? Should they bring him back, or should they bring Golden State? Try to keep their dynasty going for Golden State. Try to team up with Stephen Curry. So there's a lot of talks about LeBron James, whether or not he's leaving Los Angeles. I don't think he's leaving Los Angeles anytime soon. He's trying to keep his career going. I mean, it is really hard that LeBron James has done everything he's done in his career. And I don't know what to say right now. You can bark like a dog or something like that. The Lakers need some performances, how they can pan on out here in this one. All right, coming up next, we'll preview the Wolves and the Spurs Game 5 live in San Antonio. Who's going to take Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals? Also coming up, Cowboys do have a Thanksgiving opponent in 2026. The Bills have their home opener opponent in their new stadium. We'll take a break. All right, so we got Spurs and we got Timberwolves at the Spurs, Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals. The series is deadlocked at 2 apiece. So here we go. So let me ask this question. All right, so Victor Wembanyama will not face any discipline after he was ejected last Sunday for for using an elbow on Nas Reed. It was a flagrant foul penalty too. When he ejected occurred with 8 minutes and 39 seconds left in the second quarter, and the Wolves end up winning that game 114 to 109 in Game 4 to even up this series. So let me ask this question: am I surprised that Victor is facing no discipline after he was ejected this past Sunday? Not really. I'm not surprised. I think NBA did a good job. The NBA officials did a good job. I don't think it was necessarily intentional, even though it was excessive. If on Wembanyama, against Wembanyama, I should say, I believe that Wembanyama is. I believe that I'm confident that the Spurs will try to move forward to tonight's Game 5. I mean, I don't know how important this game is. I mean, this is the best of 3. I think this series will go to the distance between these two clubs. I mean, the good news is each team has won a home game, each team has won a road game in this series. I mean, Wolves won on the road in Game 1. Spurs won on the road in Game 3. Spurs won at home in Game 2. Wolves won at home in Game 4. So there you go. Back and forth. This series is expected to be really critical down the stretch, if that's going to be the case. But we all know that the San Antonio Spurs they really need to perform in a really good high level, if that's the case. But you've got to make you've got to make differences, and that's what the difficulty is all about. You got to start making better decisions. How to come out in this one here. So we just got to learn everybody else. We don't doing that. Devin Vassell, Stephen Castle, Keldon Johnson, they all had to step up in Game 5 if they want. And De'Aaron Fox has been pretty good in the playoffs. We talk about which team will have a chance to make the conference finals, Spurs or Minnesota, for the West. Things will only get better if you're San Antonio. For Minnesota, tonight, this is an important Game 5. Either you win, you put yourself ahead of the series 3-2, or if you lose, you're trailing back in the series 3-2. You don't go on the road in Game 5 is critical. Anthony Edwards, so right now he's playing well in this series. No surprise. You got experienced Wolves team facing the inexperienced Spurs team. But it's a different story right now. And how they can do that in these situations. But that's funny because right now, if it's Edwards and McDaniels, someone has to take over. But the Wolves need to stop turning the basketball over and be more efficient. That will be critical by going forward. So we'll see how they could respond to this one here. So you'll see how it happens. All right, coming up next on JDB's Morning Cap, we'll talk the Cowboys. They have another schedule in Week 12 review on Thanksgiving. Also, the Buffalo Bills home opener in the new stadium has been revealed as well. So we'll talk about that come next on JDB's Morning Cap. We'll be right back. Welcome back here on JDB's Morning Cap. But before we get started here, we had sad news to share with the Super Bowl winner, former Giants, Cowboys, and Broncos quarterback Craig Morton passed away this past Saturday. He played 18 NFL seasons from 1965 through 1982. He played 3 seasons with the Giants. He spent most of his career with the Cowboys and some with the Broncos. Craig Morton is Craig Morton went 2 Super Bowls with 2 different franchises with Dallas and Denver. Craig Morton was 83 years old. All right, so we're going to send our condolences to the entire Morton family. This man will be missed. All right, let's move on here. Speaking of the Cowboys have revealed their Thanksgiving opponent on November 26, 2026. The Cowboys will face the Philadelphia Eagles in AT&T Stadium. Kickoff will begin at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox and Fox 1. That's the streaming service is Fox 1. So the Cowboys playing the Eagles once again in Thanksgiving. Speaking of which, let's think of the Cowboys' Thanksgiving opponents in each of their last 12 years. In 2014, Philadelphia Eagles, result, loss to the Eagles. In 2015, Carolina Panthers, result, loss to the Panthers. 2016, Commanders, originally the Washington Redskins, win over the Redskins in 2016. 2017, the Los Angeles Chargers, loss. They lost to the Chargers in 2017 Thanksgiving. 2018, Washington Commanders, original name Washington Redskins. Cowboys won over the Redskins in Thanksgiving 2018. 2019, Buffalo Bills, lost to the Buffalo Bills. 2020, Washington football team. Cowboys lost to the Washington football team in 2020. 2021, the Las Vegas Raiders. The Cowboys lost to the Las Vegas Raiders in overtime in 2021. 2022, New York Giants. The Cowboys beat the New York Giants in 2022. 2023, the Washington Commanders. Cowboys beat Commanders on DeRon Bland's historical pick 6. It was a blowout fashion in Dallas. 2024, the New York Giants. Cowboys beat the Giants in 2024. And then last year, the Cowboys beat the Chiefs. Cowboys played the Chiefs. Last year, the Cowboys beat the Chiefs. End up winning over the Chiefs. The Cowboys beat the Giants in Thanksgiving 2024. Cowboys beat the Chiefs last year's Thanksgiving. All right, so the Cowboys will host the Eagles in Dallas on November 26, 2026. So here's my question. Do you think this matchup makes a whole lot competitive? I believe so. We have divisions rivalry. You got Philadelphia got Philadelphia and Dallas. In week 12. That's the game you really want to see. We'll see how that game goes in this one. Because of that, you would love to see how much they can perform in a high level. But it wouldn't make sense because of that. But I do like the fact that these games are going to perform in a super high level because of that. And it's not a big deal right now. But I mean, you got Jalen Hurts versus Dak Prescott. You know all these games really well. But is that all you got to say? Nah. It's a golden difference. But right now, when I look at these Thanksgiving opponents for the Cowboys, the Lions haven't revealed their Thanksgiving opponents yet either this year. Lions will have to face. Lions' potential Thanksgiving opponent at home could be Minnesota, Chicago. You could put New England in the mix, Jacksonville in the mix for Thanksgiving home opponents. Green Bay is out of the mix because they played last year in Thanksgiving. Lions played the Packers in Detroit last year's Thanksgiving. So it could be Minnesota, Chicago, Jacksonville, New England. Jets are not in the mix, by the way. You can't put New Orleans or Tampa Bay in the mix either. I mean, you could put Tampa Bay in the mix for Thanksgiving. You could. And then they gotta face the Giants. They shouldn't be in the mix either. So there's a lot going on in this one here. So this is what happened. So the Cowboys, the Eagles and Cowboys, we'll see how that's going to go here on November 26th. It's going to be a really good. There's going to be a lot of drama in Dallas. So we're going to keep that in mind. Cowboys and Eagles season series was split at 1 apiece last year. Each team won the home field. So we'll see how that pans out in 2026 in this one here. So we're going to see. They can take control in this one. Now, let's stay with the Cowboys. Let's talk about other games. Let's talk to the Seattle Seahawks. Who will be your week 1 opponent? So Chiefs is no longer in the mix. 49ers and Rams are not in the mix. Right now it's going down to Chicago or New England or the Chargers. So for my pick, I'm going to pick the Chicago Bears is my week 1 opponent for Seattle. Going to be the Bears at Seahawks in week 1. Possibly Bears Seahawks. It's not confirmed yet. It could confirm ahead of NFL schedule release. So we'll find out whoever wins the week 1 opponent. So right now, the two main choices right now either is Patriots or the Bears. If it's Patriots, we will have a Super Bowl rematch for the first time in 10 years. We have never had a Super Bowl rematch in Week 1 since 2016. 10 years ago, it was Panthers and Broncos. This time the game was in Denver, and Denver won the rematch just months after they won a Super Bowl. Will Seattle become the second NFL team in NFL in a Super Bowl era to win the Super Bowl and then win the home opener against the same opponent, the same Super Bowl opponent from the previous year? It could happen. If it's Patriots and Seahawks, I believe that's a good idea. To me, I like to see the Patriots and the Seahawks for Week 1 rematch. I would love to see it. I'd love to see Patriots and Seahawks in Week 1 in their Super Bowl rematch. We've seen several of those. Remember 10 years ago, Panthers and the Broncos, it was Super Bowl 50 rematch. I was a senior year that year. I was a senior in high school. That was the last time we had a Super Bowl rematch to open up the regular season. We haven't seen that since. So let's say if it really helps their cause, then you only made your differences. But it's fair to say that Seattle Week 1 opponent could be against New England or Chicago. But so we have to know what's going on. Which means Seattle will have to face some big time opponents this season, like Kansas City, Los Angeles Chargers, Los Angeles Rams twice, Niners twice, Cowboys, Eagles, Bears. Broncos. The Seahawks are facing high leverage opponents in 2026. That's why this is a tough division for the NFC West. NFC West is amongst the best in the NFL last year. 3 teams have won over 10 games last year. Seattle was part of it last year. They won 14 games. Rams on the other end, they won 12 games. Niners also won 12 games. Those are the teams who won at least 10 or more games last year. And two NFC West teams got to the championship game of the NFC last year, Seattle and Los Angeles Rams. So Seattle won, and Seattle won the Super Bowl because they have a great brand of defense. You know how critical it was. Because of that, it's really helping their own cause in this one here. All right, coming up next on JDB's Morning Count, the Buffalo Bills has the home opener in their new stadium. Who will face it? Who the Bills' home opener opponent will look like? We will step away in several minutes. Oh, by the way, the Cowboys did schedule for Week 3 opponent. The Cowboys are going to play the Ravens in Brazil at 4:25 Eastern on CBS. So it'll be Lamar Jackson versus Dak Prescott. It'll be the Ravens Cowboys in Brazil on CBS, 4:25 Eastern. Cowboys will be a designated home team in Week 3. So I just want to keep that in mind in this one. Also, We do have breaking news. Our first Thursday Night Football on Prime Video. It will be the Buffalo Bills will have a home opener in Week 2 on September 17th against Detroit Lions. Kickoff begins at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. It will be the Lions at the Bills in Week 2. Josh Allen is 2-0 against Jared Goff in his career. Correction, Josh Allen is 3-0 against Jared Goff. Josh Allen, his first matchup was September 27th, 2020. It was Rams and the Bills. The Bills beat the Rams in their Bills beat the Rams on September 27th when Goff was starting quarterback with the Rams. Josh Allen was the starter with the Bills. Then their next head-to-head matchup, Jared Goff went to Detroit Lions. Josh Allen was still a Buffalo Bill. On November 24th, 2022, Bills at the Lions. And the Bills beat the Lions in a close one in Thanksgiving on November 24th, 2022 in Detroit. And then in 2024, December 15th, 2024, the Bills beat the Lions in a thriller. So the Bills beat the Lions in 2022, Bills beat the Rams in 2020, Bills beat the Lions again in 2024. Bills won in a thriller in Detroit. So Josh Allen is 3-0 against Jared Goff in a head-to-head. So, here's my question. Do you like the early matchup between Lions and the Bills in Week 2 in their new stadium, Highmark Stadium of the Buffalo Bills? Yeah, I do like it. I love it, actually. The Buffalo Bills, their first new home game, first ever home game in their new stadium. Expect to be rocking. Expect to be more fans. But Josh Allen is a real deal. But damn, you got Jared Goff, you got so many weapons on offense. You got Jahmyr Gibbs. You got Sam Laporta, Raha St. Brown, Jameson Williams. You got a ton of weapons on offense. Now on the defensive side of the ball, all you guys, Aiden Hutchinson. Excuse me. And for the Bills, what they need to improve coming into this offseason. The Bills need a wide receiver production. The Bills got DJ Moore. So the rest of them has competition. Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Joshua Palmer, Miko Harmon Jr., something like that. Yeah. So this is critical. We know DJ Moore is the number one receiver for the Buffalo Bills. But the number two receiver is up for grabs. You got Coleman, Shakir, Hartman, Palmer. Well, they still don't have any type of consistent production in a wide receiver position. They can be better in that department, but they're not going to be top 5 in those productions. Josh Allen's going to rely on him on the tight ends and the running back James Cook. That's going to be the key for the Buffalo Bills. you know how critical is it. We've just been talking about how good is the Buffalo Bills. Well, the Bills' defense last year has been up and down. They have the best pass defense in the NFL, but the run defense has been the main struggles. They can't stop the run last year. They're one of the bottoms in the league in that department last year. The other biggest issue is their pass rush. We know Joey Bosa is capable of doing it, but the pass rush has been inconsistent for the Buffalo Bills. They just need to be better. The biggest question mark has been the interior pass rush for both of these teams between Detroit and Buffalo. But who has a better defense got in Detroit? Because Aiden Hutchinson is one of the best defensive players in the game, if not the best. Arguably, he could win the Defensive Player of the Year in 2026. He could do it. If he can stay healthy and this team perform at a high level, this team can get to the Super Bowl. This team had a pretty good chance to make a deep Super Bowl run. Same with the Buffalo Bills. They haven't gotten to the Super Bowl for decades. It's been a while since the Buffalo Bills have a trip to the Super Bowl. Detroit has never been to the Super Bowl. So, if this is indeed a Super Bowl preview, then that's not a bad idea to get off to a fresh start. You know, how critical would it be because of that? Maybe it's just because these guys are just going to play a lot harder than you really want to expect. Nothing you really want to see that happening. But it's not a problem because you want this team to put themselves ahead of it. So there's a lot on the line because of it. You wouldn't believe it. All right, let's close it out here on JDB's Morning Cap. What's coming up in our next program tomorrow, our next episode? We'll recap Game 5 of the Western Conference Semifinals. We'll preview tomorrow's Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals. And then we're going to preview the NFL schedule release for the next couple of days. We'll keep our fingers crossed. So there's a lot going on this week. NFL schedule release. We know WNBA has already been back in the regular season. Hopefully we can do everything we can. See how it's Rivals Week. We all know that. It's a big week in sports and this entire podcast. That's gonna do it. This is JDB's Morning Cap. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I hope your day is smooth, and we'll see you tomorrow.